So before we get going, and probably with the big story out there, the Epstein story, the Ghislaine Maxwell testimony, a video deposition of her being grilled by Bradley Edwards. The deposition itself, only the text is available. It's got redactions, and I would love to see the actual video. I'd love to see the inflections in her voice. I would love to see the facial expressions, because you're only going to get so much of that. That being said, it was only released to the public, I think, about 2 hours ago, and we shared it immediately through our good friend Big Fish at Trey Billion, who's done great work on this case, by the way. Just fantastic work on the Epstein case and so many others involving the unfortunate and high-level abuse of children, okay? And high-level abuse of children. So we're going to be going over some of that document. It's like 400-plus pages, but there's one part in particular, because I've already done some keyword searches. I wanted to see if Trump was in it. Trump is not in it. I wanted to see if Clinton is in it. Clinton is in it, and that was definitely a point of my interest. I looked up Richardson. I didn't see him. I'm not sure if Glenn Dubin is going to make it in there. Again, so these are questions that were directly asked of Ghislaine Maxwell that she would have had to have, allegedly have firsthand knowledge of. So a lot to go over in this. We're going to show you the documents. We're going to do it live. That's how we do it here. We don't obfuscate the truth. So with that being said, without you guys, I couldn't do this. I 100%, could not do this. $5, $10, $15, large donations. It means the world to me. It's how I'm able to, look into this stuff, give you a perspective outside of the left-right paradigm. And boy, is that difficult in today's day and age. I had somebody, earlier today, somebody I know, and he buys into the entire left-right paradigm, and, he watches Rachel Maddow and MSNBC, and he discredits anything that's out there that's supposedly right-wing media. And I'm like, dude, right-wing media? What are you talking about? We're talking about the Hunter Biden laptop. I'm like, the FBI's had the laptop. The Burisma scandal is real. I've been covering it since 2017. It has nothing to do with QAnon or anything like that. I'm a debunker of QAnon. What are we talking about here? Well, I don't believe this and I don't believe that. And I'm like, again, nobody has been able to prove anything that's come out of that laptop is illegitimate. No one's threatened a lawsuit. There have been no actual denials. The Director of National Intelligence has come forward, and says that, yes, the FBI has had the material. It seems since at least December, while the fake impeachment trial was going on, no less, right? And we didn't hear about it, and that went forward. And the only way we knew about it is because somebody else went public, whether it was Giuliani or not. So, yeah. I'm not waiting on anything else, like sue them or prove that something they've put out is wrong, because, quite frankly, I haven't seen it. So if you are watching this on the replay over at YouTube, make sure you thumbs it up. You subscribe and share. You join the Burmese Brigade. You share this with other people as well. Again, I want to thank all the hardcores out there watching this live on Rockfin. All the documentary films are free in the playlist section. I believe a couple of them are also free on Rockfin. Shade the Motion Picture, I know, is definitely on here as well. And this is how you do it. Rockfin. You can support me with a premium membership, but there are a lot of free videos on there. And guys, again, the cool thing about this is that, right now this is free live. And we kept yesterday's free for almost 24 hours for everybody to check out. And then we make it premium. And we didn't post anything from yesterday's video, which was a shorter video. I think it was like 25, 30 minutes. But it didn't get posted to YouTube. So if you missed it, it's kind of cool that you're over here. Now, before we get into the news that the judge has ordered that this information and this deposition finally comes out, and, there are points where you can tell they are talking about Ghislaine Maxwell's personal, sexual relationships and whatever. Who cares? But one of the stories I saw kind of getting false information or censored that came out a few days ago was Jeffrey Epstein's sex slave, Virginia Roberts, was told to drink blood during assault. So just so people don't, go over the edge on this one, basically, this is in a Barry Levine interview or book, I'm sorry. The Spider Inside the Criminal Web of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And, Virginia Roberts apparently is telling, this journalist in an unpublished interview that she was in this weird S&M encounter when the girl asked her to drink blood. And, obviously Roberts was disgusted. She said to Epstein, who was there, it's getting too weird. He drew the line after that, and he got rid of the other girl. So, you do have to wonder, and I think that this is, fine speculation. You do have to wonder, if that's part of the game. They got this, girl like Roberts or someone else in there, and, they already know what this dominatrix or other sex worker or other victim is, going to do. And they test the waters. I know a lot of people want to talk about adrenochrome and, all these other things out there. But when you're getting into, again, a girl that was recruited as an underage teenager, talking about, these, sex parties, and then talking about dominatrixes, and then one of them asking them, isn't that enough to drink a little blood? Isn't that enough? I mean, how far do we got to take it? I mean, everything doesn't have to be and shouldn't be about baby sacrifice. And again, maybe this is like, well, she'll drink the blood. Maybe she will get involved in something a little heavier duty later on. That's certainly a possibility, but that would be 100% speculation. We try not to speculate over here. So, that being said, let's jump over to the document right here. Anybody can go download it. I've already tweeted it out, so if you go to @JasonBurmis, you can find the whole thing. It's in Document Cloud, I believe. But you can just download the whole PDF right here, and you can check it out yourself. You see there's the videographer. There's Bradley Edwards. And that's the attorney for the plaintiff. So let's just do it and go to the Clinton section, because I think that this is pretty interesting and worth reading. So we're going to take it just above here, because you see there's some blackouts up here. All right. So let's see. Do you recall, I think earlier, this is a question by the lawyer, you said you visited Jeffrey's Island. I think that they called it St. Jeffrey or St. James, the U.S. Virgin Islands home. St. James. Do you recall whether blank? Now, remember, Jane Doe 1 and 2, I think, are being protected in this, but some of these redactions seem to go beyond Jane Doe 1 or 2. Do you recall whether blank was ever on that island? Categorically, definitely, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, when I was present, or any other time that I am aware of, was blank ever on that island. I do not believe he went to that island ever, ever. That is an absolute fabrication and an absolute flat-out lie. So to me, again, this isn't Jane Doe 1 or 2. This is certainly somebody that's still being protected. Okay, that somehow got their name redacted on here. And it's not going to be Clinton, because we'll see the Clintons discussed. All right, so blank was, and again, I don't know if this is one person or two people or whatever, but this line was also blacked out. Ever at any of Jeffrey Epstein's homes when you were present, other than the island, I know you said that did not happen, the home in either New York or Palm Beach or New Mexico. Answer from Ghislaine. I do not believe at any time blank was at any of Jeffrey's homes. I have absolutely no knowledge or otherwise that he was ever there. So we're talking about a male here. But who? I went to my man Big Fish, and he couldn't give me an answer. If anybody out there has an idea who these redactions may be referring to, I think that one of them is referring to the Clinton Initiative, but we'll get there. Please DM me over at @JasonBurmis on Twitter and tell me why you think this. You don't recall having dinner with him at any of those homes. And here's the answer. Again, Virginia is absolutely, totally lying. This is a subject of defamation about Virginia and the lies she has told. And one of the lies she told was that President Clinton was on the island where I was present. Absolutely, 1,000%, that is a flat-out total fabrication and lie. So you have to wonder if like they're playing games here, and maybe Bill Clinton is the person that's blacked out up there, or maybe it's Bill and Hillary Clinton. I don't know. You did fly on planes, Jeffrey Epstein's planes, with President Clinton. Is that correct? I have flown, yes. Would it be fair to say that President Clinton and Jeffrey are friends? I wouldn't be able to characterize it like that, no. Are they acquaintances? I wouldn't be able to categorize it. He just allowed him to use his plane. I couldn't categorize Jeffrey's relationship. When you were on the plane with Jeffrey and President Clinton, did you observe Jeffrey and blank talking? Now, is that President Clinton or is that somebody else? And she says, but it would be bizarre that they blacked that part out. I'm sure they did. Did they seem friendly? I don't recollect. Was Epstein one of the original people that conceived the blank? Now, I wonder if that's the Clinton initiative. You know? Objection to the Foreman Foundation. Do you know? I don't know what you are talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about. Did you ever, not at one of the houses, but did you eat dinner with blank and Jeffrey Epstein? You know, are you just talking in general anywhere? In general. I believe on a plane of this nature we would have had a meal, but not outside of travel on the flights. And she says, I can't recollect having a meal with him, but just so we are clear, the allegations that blank had a meal on Jeffrey's Island is 100% false. So again, it could be Clinton. It could be Bill. Okay? But he may have had a meal on Jeffrey's plane. Let's see. I'm sure he had a meal on Jeffrey's plane. Do you know how many times he flew on Jeffrey's plane? So again, they're probably referencing Clinton. I don't. But then he goes, do you know who blank is? I do. Do you know him? How do you know him? He used to work or still works for blank. So maybe this is somebody who works for Bill Clinton? I don't know. Did you ever have a relationship with him? What are we talking about? Adult consensual relationships? It's off the record. I'm not asking what you did with him. I'm asking if you ever had a relationship with him. Mr. Pagluka, if you understand the term relationship, certainly you can answer that. Define relationship. Somebody that you would have spent time together, either seeing them in a romantic relationship or you need to. What do you mean by romantic? I was friends with blank, but you are suggesting something more. So I want to be clear what you are actually asking me. You defined it. You said you were friends with him. If that's what you were, that's all I need to know. And again, more things blacked out. While you were on the trip with blank, do you recall where you stayed at these locations? In other words, would you leave the jet and stay overnight at a hotel? Do you have a recollection of this trip? And basically, it obfuscates a lot of it. And it's hard for me to tell exactly, who they're talking about. But eventually they start talking about Thailand, right? And Virginia Giuffre Roberts talks about escaping through Thailand and that, she was supposed to pick up a girl there. And obviously, even in the mainstream, we know there's a lot of human trafficking and child trafficking and, unfortunately, a sex trade over in Thailand. So, guys, it's a 400-plus page document. I'm sure that more is going to come out. You guys know that there's going to be some kind of headlines out there, but we'll see. Are there going to be any more stark, big revelations? Are there going to be any more big names named? Are we ever going to see any real justice in this case? Are we going to see, the Nadia Marcinkovas of the world, the Leslie Groffs of the world, the Sarah Kalins of the world, ever in a courtroom Are we going to unravel this more? Are we going to find out what exactly these intelligence, ties were, whether they be Mossad, CIA, UK intelligence, etc.? Because there's a lot out there that hasn't been accounted for.